Even though you're trying to save them and their lives, most police, if someone above them in authority, like a city official, tells them, get those people off the sidewalk out there. And when you submit, first they'll push you to the sidewalk, then they'll push you across the street. Then when people come over to get your literature, they'll push you off of that. Remember 2 years ago, in one of the major counties in Baltimore, Maryland, was it Prince George County? We had one of the state attorneys on who was on CNN saying everyone must take the shot. It's the law. Over 2,000 children and their parents showed up at the courthouse. There were police dogs. This was on CNN. Riot police. We've had guests on who were there. The police told them you can't even stand off the property giving people flyers or talking to them. They would use police dogs to threaten them. This was on the news. We want even more depth here on air. And when I had him on, I said, do you vaccinate your children? He laughed and said, no. He had school-age children. And I said, it's not the law to take the shot. He goes, no, inside the courthouse on one table, we did have the waiver file, the waiver sheets. But then I talked to people that were there. They never told them about it, never told them they were on a table. And there were people on the news, predominantly black, crying, saying, I don't trust the shot, but they told me I'm going to be arrested if I don't take this. That, ladies and gentlemen, is criminal and un-American and wrong. And this is a test to see if we'll put up with this. Now, separate from that, I've seen story after story after story after story. I lost count, but I know it's more than 20, probably 30 or 40. I see so many of these, I don't even cover them most of the time when a new one comes across my desk the last 6 months with all this fear-mongering, where they tell parents that, no, we didn't inject your child, or we didn't give them a flu mist, or we didn't give them a vaccine, the seasonal shot, or now the H1N1. And then it even makes it in the newspaper that, oh, there's a controversy, the school says the children are lying, even though they'll have whole groups of children saying it in elementary, middle school, and high school. Here is a news piece out of right here in the United States where this indeed did happen, and the school admits it, but says they screwed up. No, they're lining your children up without your authorization and doing this to them. And that's what the executive order states. So they're testing to see what they can get away with. Here it is.
Has a lot of questions tonight after he says his son was given the H1N1 vaccination at school without his permission. The child got the vaccination from Montgomery County health officials at Camargo Elementary School. But his dad says the child has other health issues that make this vaccination potentially dangerous. Sherelle Roberts talked with the upset father and school officials for tonight's top story.
School officials say that it was a mix-up, a case of mistaken identity that caused a 7-year-old student to receive the H1N1 vaccine, despite the fact that his parents said he wasn't supposed to. And now the young man's parents are upset. They want authorities to revisit their procedures and possibly change them to make sure this doesn't happen to another child.
I picked him up from school, and he said he'd been to the nurse's station and he got medicine sprayed in his nose. And we didn't give him consent to do so.
So Matthew Angel called his son's school's nurses station and discovered his son had been given the flu mist vaccination for H1N1.
They said, we're sorry, we got the wrong kid by mistake.
The flu mist was supposed to go to another child who had a similar name to Jacob Wages.
Sorry, Harley fixes it, though. A school is supposed to be a safe place.
But the flu mist was not given by a school official. A Montgomery County Health Department nurse was running a vaccination clinic at the school and administered it. We contacted the health department looking for an explanation, and they said that the incident is under investigation. But this dad says an investigation might not protect his asthmatic and naturally sickly child from falling ill because of the mistake.
A little cold can lead to a big thing for him. If he runs a temperature, it's not 100.1, it's 105.
He and his wife hope the health department's procedures in schools will be changed so this doesn't happen again.
And the doctor's excuses and whatnot, I would suggest calling a parent and double check it, instead of just a written consent. How about verbal?
And when we spoke to the school superintendent, he says to the best of his knowledge, he's never known any of the health department workers who come to the schools to run clinics to ever have made a mistake.
oh, we've never known of them to make a mistake. And, of course, there are several issues here. But first off, we need to remember the government, the criminal group that runs this nation, has been caught more than 20,000 times. That's the numbers that we have in Endgame. You can read hundreds of those cases at whatistheendgame.com, the bibliography for the film. We don't just make these claims of giving people syphilis, letting them die of it, radiating foster children, testing pesticides on foster children, spraying towns with chemicals, biologicals, radiologicals. Government does this over and over and over again. They test on us, mainly to see if they can get groups of doctors and nurses that can be promoted into the whole eugenics system, who they know will carry out secret testing, in many cases with lethal substances, on the population. There's another big facet to all of this. All over the nation, they tell people it's mandatory to take the flu shot, to take the Gardasil shot. That's on record. You heard the health department head of Dallas County sidestepping that one. They don't ask people if they have asthma. They don't ask them if they have autoimmune problems. They don't ask them if they have diabetes. They don't ask them if they have heart trouble. Because you're not supposed to take these shots. Their own inserts from CDC.gov say it. But they never tell you that. So that's a whole nother issue. It goes on and on. It is a giant, outrageous, criminal fraud that we are dealing with. Your phone calls, blitzing through your phone calls on the other side of this quick break. And then I will continue next hour getting into what this emergency really means. But we've got to get out there, reach out to the people, and say no to this vaccine. The good old folks at New Silver Solution. And the website is supernaturalsilver.com. Supernaturalsilver.com. This is something that kills bacteria, viruses, you name it, well documented. They've got it down to a super small, nano-sized particle. Supernaturalsilver.com. Check them out at Infowars.com. Supernaturalsilver.com.